hosted a layout contest for $100, and here are the results. So for the past month, I hosted a layout contest in Geometry Dash, where the rule is that you have to make an insane or an extreme demon. I received a total of 15 different entries, and a lot of them are really good, so I'm really excited to share the results with everyone today. This is actually my third ever layout contest. I've done one every year up to this point, but the results for my first two entries were streamed on Twitch as opposed to a YouTube video like I'm doing now. I spent a total of 8,541 attempts thoroughly playing every single entry to make sure that I was completely happy with the results. I judged purely off of how fun these entries were and my overall enjoyment with them, so nothing like structuring or overall visuals changed my rankings of any layouts at all, so keep that in mind. Also, this is purely my opinion. All these results were after me playing these for thousands of attempts, and only me. Nobody else was involved. With that being said, let's jump straight into the entries.
Number 15.
At number 15, we have an entry that isn't actually number 15. I actually had to disqualify it for being too easy. If you played the entries beforehand, you might know which entry this is, but assuming you didn't, that entry would be Challenger by Fisilo. It's a good layout, but I had to disqualify it because it's just too easy. It's not an insane demon. I beat it in 168 attempts. It's pretty fun for the most part, but it's got that classic click sync level issue where some stuff just doesn't align even when I feel like I'm playing perfectly with the song. So it kind of becomes a little bit frustrating, but even then, it's pretty easy. Like I said, it's not an insane demon, so I think if it would have placed, it would have maybe been at around number 8, which is about the halfway point, but I feel like if it was harder, it would also make it worse, so I'm not really sure. At number 14, our real last place entry is Pressure by RecZX. So this is an extreme demon, and I'm going to be honest, I did not like it. This was actually a last minute entry to the contest, and I'm going to be honest, I only did one practice run of it. That practice run was not a good experience. It's extremely buggy and just overall weird and unenjoyable to play. It's super hard to even get through a practice run of. This is the type of gameplay that I asked people not to enter to the contest, so I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Still, thank you for entering. At number 13, we have another entry that sadly, I just didn't like the style of gameplay of. This is Dirty Land by Scrawlin, another extreme demon that, again, I only did one practice run of. But after I finished all the entries, I actually did try to do a second practice run of this, and I gave up halfway through. Unlike the last entry though, I think this entry actually executes the style of gameplay it wanted to go for pretty well. It syncs really nice, and is kind of enjoyable to watch, but to play, it's just not my thing, and it's really, really learny. Like, I don't mind learning gameplay at all, but this layout is really long and it's practically memory. But I didn't think I could disqualify it, and I would feel bad doing so. So here it is at a bottom spot. At number 12, we have NathanYAY's entry, the Thall machine. Look, Nathan, I'm really sorry, but it's just not that fun to play. Nathan put a lot of effort into this entry, and I don't want that to be discredited, and I think he did a good job. This is really entertaining to watch, and it's really crazy. There's just way too much going on in this one, and it's just not very fun to play. A lot of the individual clicks are really, really hard, and I just can't see myself doing any runs of this, but I did do multiple practice runs. However, this isn't a bad entry, I just think that all the ones I placed above it were just more fun.
Yo, Gigs. Glow Sky had...
At number 11, we have yet another extreme demon, this one being Holographic Koopazoo by Naxon. This is the first entry where I have significant runs on the level, and all the other entries do too from this point onwards. I don't really think this entry is that bad at all, but sadly, it's just kind of uninteresting. This is a pretty harmless layout. I do think some of the individual clicks are too hard, and the whole middle section is way too hard compared to the rest of the level, but overall, this places low purely because it's kind of just a bit uninteresting. This is just an alright layout, and it places at number 11. And at number 10, we have Factory Frickin by Pumpkiny. Now when I first saw this layout, I actually enjoyed it a lot more than what I actually placed it at in the end. This is because after playing it, some parts just aren't that fun, specifically the middle section with the dual waves. There are a lot of really fun parts, but a lot of the parts are really awkward and janky to play, and I just couldn't enjoy it more for this reason. However, I do give this layout props for being decently original and pretty interesting to watch. And at number 9, we have an entry that actually surprised me a lot. This one is In Your Eyes by GD Kamal. This is the first one on the list that I've actually beaten. When I first saw this, I thought I really wouldn't like it since it's not really the style of gameplay I enjoy, but he actually did focus on playability on this one, and you can tell because I beat it, and it's pretty fun. I think the first half of the layout is a lot more jank than the second half, and also just less interesting overall. The duels in the second half are really confusing at first, but once you learn them, they're actually really fun, and I actually really enjoyed that part of the layout. The only reason this doesn't score even higher is because of the fact that the first half just doesn't really compare much. A few things also felt a little bit awkward, but it's not too big of an issue. I hope to see you keep making layouts, because this was actually decently fun. Good job.
In your eyes, I see there's something burning inside you. Oh, inside you. In your eyes, I know it hurts to smile, but you try to. Oh, you try to. You always try to hide the pain. You always know just what to say. I always look the other way. I'm blind in your eyes. You lie, but I don't let it define you or define you.
Darius.
At number 9, we have one that I'm really disappointed to put this low, but after playing it a good amount, I just felt like I couldn't place it any higher. This entry is Wild Side by KizzyBro7. I heard a lot of really good things when this one came out, and after playing it, it's definitely really good. Some parts are really creative, and I really love the transition right before the drop, where the cube freezes in midair, and you play as a ball and the duel at the bottom that appears. However, despite being the most creative entry, a few parts are pretty awkward to play, and this layout has a huge problem, which is that the last 25% is a lot harder than the rest of the layout. Like, I could barely do the last 25% in one run, and I have 70% on the layout. I honestly think the last 25% is equal difficulty to the first 75%, which is a really bad thing. I think if you nerfed the second half of the level a lot, this would be a really enjoyable hard demon, but for now, it's just a really unbalanced insane demon.
People shouldn't live too long in the jungle. brings out their bad side, their jealousies, their impatience.
Of the jungle.
Listen, Dina.
What is it?
At number 7, we have yet another entry that surprised me a lot. This one being Unnamed 172 by Jabda189. This one's actually a 9 circles layout, which I didn't expect at all, but it's not bad. The wave parts are actually pretty fun and fairly balanced too, but the only thing is, I just think it's not interesting enough to place above the entries above it.
There he is. Go.
At number 6, we have 15 Steps layout by Akon. At first, when I started judging these entries, I was worried that all of the extreme demons were going to be at the bottom, and it just made me look like I liked them less. But after playing this a good amount, I definitely think this entry is an extreme demon. This layout is awesome to watch and really satisfying to pull off the parts, but I think a lot of small things are just really annoying, and those annoying things add up over time. What brings it down the most is the click sync based gameplay to the song. I think it makes the gameplay a bit uninteresting to play at times, and a lot of it has to do with sharing the same issue as the last place entry, which is where I click to the song, but sometimes I just die. I think that type of gameplay can just really get on your nerves, and it brings down the enjoyment a bit for me. Despite what I just said, this is still really fun to play. I think for the most part, the parts are pretty fun and fair, except for some parts, like maybe the duels and the 36% ship. Entering the top 5, we have an entry that when I first saw, I thought it was going to win, but after playing all of them, it's placing down here. This one is Hyperstink by Viet. The drop in this entry is extremely fun. I love playing it, and there's very little problems with it. However, playing this from zero is not that fun. The pre-drop is super long and also a lot easier up until the end of it, and it just really brings down the enjoyment when you play this from zero. I still think this is a really good entry though, and honestly, I think this would make for a really good beginner Insane Demon, so if Viet decides to decorate this, I would definitely recommend playing it.
I could still be so fucking blind. Look at my past through a mirror that's cracked, and I hate what I see. It's all in your eyes. Another false god to hide the lies. I used to talk to but I'll just go back here. Tell was my dream. Tell was my dream.
At number 4, we have an entry that I really wanted to make the top 3, but I can't be biased, so sorry Gigs. That's right, at number 4, we have 84 Layout by Gigs or H.
That's another fail added to the fail counter.
This is another entry that I've beaten, and actually the first one that I beat since he submitted this earlier than most entries. I also only beat it in 290 attempts, which normally would make me think it's bordering on Insane or Hard Demon, but the gameplay's pretty skill-based. When I originally saw this layout being made, I actually thought it was probably going to win, but after playing it, it has the same problems I had with Akon's entry, although a bit less. The click sync-based gameplay can really just get uninteresting and a bit frustrating to play. Sometimes when you click to the song and it just doesn't work, it just gets annoying. The high CPS part at the end, well, it's not hard, it just feels really out of place, and I don't know, I feel like you could have done something else. However, this entry is seriously fun, and I would recommend everyone to play it.
She's an earthquake, got me under the door. She's a soul grid, she's a 424. She gives me high, she heartbreak, fall to the floor. My Julie on my escape, 84. She's an earthquake, got me under the door. She's a soul grid, she's a 424. She gives me high, she heartbreak, fall to the floor. My Julie on my escape, 84.
Not now, son.
3.
Son.
Entering the podium now for 3rd place is Sky by Mika. When I played this in practice the first 2 times, I actually didn't like it, which made me really worried because I really wanted to like this entry. Thankfully, after practicing it, it's really fun. I don't really have much that I can say about the entry, besides I think the constant up and down movements in this way, and the constant free cam in all of the game modes, isn't really my thing, but it doesn't bring down the enjoyment too much. I think generally the middle section is just a lot harder and it brings down the enjoyment because I don't really like those duels too much. They're a lot harder than the rest of the level. Now, finally, for the top 2 entries, we have 2 entries that were released back to back on the same day. In order of release, we have B for the Beta by Minecraft Steve and Wild Blue Yonder by Hypno and Loltad. I love both of these entries. I find them super fun and I want to beat both of them, but one of them is a lot harder, so I haven't beaten that one. Before I reveal the winner though, I'm going to show the video of both of those entries and then talk about them afterwards. Now, taking first place is Wild Blue Yonder by Hypno and Loltad. I love this entry. It shouldn't come as a surprise since one of my last uploaded layouts was actually inspired by Loltad because I've taken quite the liking to his gameplay recently. It's decently learny, but you can get used to it pretty easily, and once you do, it's so fun. And thankfully for this entry, the learniness isn't that bad. You can learn it pretty easily. This is honestly probably one of my favorite layouts in the game. Hypno and Loltad's gameplay works together perfectly, and it's fun. I love everything about this, and I think it works perfectly with the song too. There are a few aspects that are a little bit inconsistent, but a level of this difficulty can pretty much never be perfect, so overall, really good job on this entry, and I'm super happy that this gets to win, except for the fact that this was the only collab, and now I have to split the prize money, which was $100. The only collab had to win first place. Thanks. But now, let's talk about Beef for the Beta. I actually went into this layout expecting to like it. It's got somewhat of a weird early 2.1 style to it. This is mostly because Steve basically quit GD in early 2.1 and hasn't played for quite some time. But in this entry, I can tell that he put a lot into it, and it is fun. I will say, maybe it's a bit too high of CPS for me, and my arm was definitely killing me after 1500 attempts of playing this level, which was easily the most I played any entry. The thing that prevents this from winning first place is there's one part early into the drop that's way, way, way harder than the rest. I could barely even do it in one run, and it was like 10% of the level. Besides that, there were some things that were a little too high CPS for me, and also just general inconsistencies throughout the level, but you can get pretty used to them through practice. Although it looks a little weird, it's seriously a super fun layout, and I honestly wish gameplay like this got decorated more often, because it's super interesting, and it's not bad at all. Hey everyone, it's Koopazoo from my phone. Thank you everyone so much for entering and watching this video. I had a lot of fun hosting this, and I put a lot of effort into making the results just right, so that the results were completely fair and I was happy with them. Congratulations to Hypno and Loltad for winning the $100 prize, Minecraft Steve for winning $50, and Mika for winning $25. This was also my first time editing a video like this, and I actually kinda had fun making it, so tell me what you thought in the comments. Thanks for watching.